A very good evening to you. Welcome to the West Ham Voice on a Friday night. I forgot to load a video, didn't I, for the intro? But it doesn't matter. I'm glad you're all here. Welcome to the show. The first of a few, I hope, Friday night shows that I'll be bringing back. It's a show that I used to do, and on and off it's been going, and more off than on over the past year or so. But it's back, and welcome. And I hope you're all well, and I hope you've all had a good week. So, what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, first of all, we're going to talk about the couple of interesting updates, interesting news updates, and then we're going to look at one particular piece that I'm going to focus on, and that's Carlos Soler, the player that we are linked to, that we've been linked to for quite some time. And then we're going to go into the game briefly that we start back in the Premier League on Saturday, of course, in about 17 hours or so. We're back playing in the Premier League. I know the league started tonight, and it was Man United against Fulham tonight. And I hear that Man United won, 1-0? 87th minute goal, something like that. I don't know what the game was like. I didn't watch it. I've got no idea how it went, but 87th minute. But anyway, I hope you're all well. And let's go into the chat and see who's here before we go into the show itself. Good evening, Daniela. How are you? I hope you're well. Is this why we get into Kudus my leave post again? It's silly. I wouldn't worry about Kudus leaving. It's highly, highly unlikely that Mohamed Kudus is going to go anywhere. I don't know where the story has come from again, but I wouldn't worry too much. Juha, good evening to you. There has been ambiguous talk from people close to him if it's going to be a hammer. Personally, I've been waiting for news what happens to Salah in the final year and who will Liverpool try to sign. They can well go for him, but I doubt very, very much that West Ham United are going to let Kudus go. I don't know where the story has popped up from again. It seems rather odd. Oliver, I remember starting saying in this press conference with Lopetegui that we did not have to sell any players in this window. I doubt Kudus would go, as he's an integral part of this project, and I completely agree with you. I don't think for 1 minute we're going to allow Mohamed Kudus to go. I'm sure in the last couple of weeks of this transfer window, that rumour is going to be ramped up, especially if Salah does leave Liverpool. But I don't think we haven't got a replacement for Mohamed Kudus. Now, many might say, well, what about Crescencio Somerville? I don't think so. And when I talk about Soler, I think you'll find that Soler would not be coming in to replace Kudus either. And neither is Guilherme a replacement for Kudus either. Good evening to you, Anthony. I hope you're well. Juhar again. When everyone calls you Starboy, you might believe you need a bigger stage. He's not advocating to go. I don't think anyone has been advocating for the player to go. I don't know where the rumor has just all of a sudden transpired from yet again. Good evening, Mark. I guess everyone has a price. Would you take 100 mil for Kudus? Honestly, no. I think this time next season, we've got a very, very different conversation to be had. But as it stands now, no, I don't think Kudus is going anywhere. Good evening to you, Ralph. I hope you're well. Good evening to you, Ray. How are you? I hope you're well, mate. Early doors. Good evening to you. Hope everyone's looking forward to. I really am looking forward to the weekend. Actually, this is a game that a new era, a new dawn in terms of West Ham United. It's a game that I think we're all looking forward to, and that kicks off in the next 17 hours or so, give or take, under the guidance of Julen Lopetegui. Does he have the tools now to deliver a reasonably successful campaign? And what I'll be doing near the end of the show is asking you what your expectation is as to what you expect him to deliver this season. Juha, 100 million for Salah and bang. I don't think. I don't know where the stories come from. I know there were the stories about Kudus early in the transfer window, but they all went quiet, and I don't know where they've materialized from again. I'd be very, very, very surprised if we sell him, because, as I said, we do not have a replacement for Kudus in the squad as it stands. Even with the players that we're linked to, and I'm going to talk extensively about Carlos Soler in a moment, even he would not be a direct replacement for Kudus. Daniela, to Juha, I saw an interview with West Ham YouTuber Harry Redknapp, who said hard Kudus may be leaving, knowing how it could be shite. Is that where it's come from? It's not going to happen, people. I wouldn't worry about it. Let's worry about it next season. I have no doubt the likes of Kudus and maybe one or two others may leave West Ham this time next summer, but I doubt very much it's going to happen this summer. Hi, Bernie. I hope you will. I hope you're well. Do you think we can make it back in Europe? Absolutely. I don't see why not. I think that's got to be an aspiration, hasn't it? Anthony, Kudus and Bone are not going anywhere. I can't believe you would think that it will happen. I totally agree. Juha, I don't want him to go. I wish he would stay here and get us back to Europe. I don't think Bone will ever leave. He is married to East London. No Europe. It is harder to keep some players. There has been no shouting from any of the players that we've currently got that they're hankering to leave the club because we haven't made Europe. In fact, if you listen to Kudus's interviews pre-season, he's talking about getting the club back to where it should be, back into Europe, and he is ready to actually be part of that process. Good evening to you, Bill. I hope you're well. Suspect Stell will be early, so I thought I would too. Galispero, Steve, I hope you're well, mate. Thank you for joining. Good evening to you, Clive. How are you, mate? I hope you're well. Who else have we got? Mark, good evening, mate. I hope you're well. I wouldn't say we have seriously overspent on brink of FFP problem. Just think it's being reported to try and scare West Ham fans and make us really cautious, in my opinion. It was a comment that was thrown out there, wasn't it, by the senior source. We have spent a lot of money. But let's not forget that we've also sold quite a few players. And I dare say we've got one or two more bits of business to be done yet. Miss Smith, good evening to you. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining. Love those toenails. Good evening, usual. I hope you're well. Now, I think I was early tonight, but, you know, you never know. It's late. So does it matter? Usual, how are you, mate? I hope you're well. Sorry about Wednesday night. I fell asleep. Oh, dear. Well, I'll probably put you guys to sleep tonight as well. Who else have we got here? Good evening, Infamy. How are you, mate? And how are you, David? Thank you for joining. Good evening, Claret and Stew. How are you? Thank you for joining as well. Good evening, Early Doors. Good evening, John. I hope you're well. Thank you all for joining. Right, let's get a few comments out of the way. Hammond 84. Good evening to you. I'm very well. 2-1 tomorrow. It's going to be tight, and I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to talk in depth. I'm no good at doing previews of games, so I'll give you a sort of a brief rundown. I'll tell you the team I think that will be put out, and I'll give you a sort of a brief update on Aston Villa as well, because they've spent a lot of money in the transfer window. They've done a hefty bit of business. It's not just us. Let's not forget, we live in our West Ham bubble, don't we? We think, oh, we've bought all these players in, 8 players. Isn't it going to be great? But we kind of forget a little bit that every other team in the Premier League has been doing much the same. Aston Villa have, Brighton have been doing business. Chelsea, well, they're buying anyone that walks at the moment, aren't they? But there's a lot of teams that have been doing a lot of business. Good evening to you, Martin. I hope you're well, mate. Thank you for joining. Frano, how are you? I hope you're well. Thank you for joining. Mr. Burden, how are you? I, for one, is looking forward to the season ahead. I see your Wi-Fi is up to speed as always. Why is it going slow? I've not seen anything that suggests it's going slow. So let me know if you can't see it properly. Can't see me properly. Aaron, I love a Friday night show. They'll be back. They won't be back regularly, but I am going to try and do them at least once a month, minimum. Matt, good evening to you. Lucky Man United late goal, as always, is how it went. So we know how their season's going to go. Well, let's not. Well, maybe it will get better. Who knows? Greg, good evening to you. United looked awful. If they keep Ten Hag, we should be finishing above them. Good evening to you, Charles. Sell Kudus and take Duran and Soler. Where's the story coming from? But please, people, do let me know where the story is coming from. By the way, if you are new to the channel, your first time on the channel, please do hit the like button. Thank you for that, Clive, for reminding me. And please become a subscriber to the channel. Doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, and the content is always free. Huge. Good evening, mate. I hope you're well. Looking forward to an exciting season. I am too. The whole thing now is about, we've got most of the players in through the transfer window. There's a bit of business left to be done. It's just a matter now of gelling them all together. Keith, hello, mate. Kalispera to you. Bolagala. I hope you're well too, mate. Evening star. I'm very well, Kevin. I hope you are too. Matt, I don't think Kudus is ready for a big leap to Liverpool, in my opinion. I don't know where it's coming from. I mean, I know there's concern. There has been concern. Liverpool have been, very interested in the likes of Kudus. Liverpool were very interested in the likes of Bone as well. I think, we are big players. And as someone said earlier in the show, Steiden said, we've no need to sell any of our players, any of our big players this summer. There's no need. We've got the money. It's been demonstrated. The money has been invested in players. There's still maybe one or two transfers to go. And Steiden said, we don't need to sell to buy. Sarif, good evening, mate. Kalispera to you as well. I hope I'm very well. Looking forward to the new season as well. Lee, good evening, mate. I hope you're well too. Kimbo, hello, mate. Sorry, still late on parade. Not at all, mate. You're very welcome. Thank you for joining, mate. I hope you're well. Toha, how are you, mate? I hope you're good. Thank you for joining as well. Good evening to you, Victor. How are you? I think some of this story has come from Harry Redknapp, who said he thinks Kudus could leave this window. With the greatest respect to Harry, he was a good manager for us. Well, till he went to manage that North London club. But how would he know? It's just sensationalism. With the greatest of respect, I think he might go. All right, I think I don't know. I think we'll buy Cole Palmer from Chelsea to replace Kudus. How about that? I think anything could. I mean, it's ridiculous. If that's where the stories come from, take it with a little bit of that. No disrespect, Mr. Redknapp, but please, huge. The Kudus rumor came from Harry Redknapp. He said in an interview he'd heard that his agent is looking for a move. Harry's stirring it up. Harry is stirring up. Now, Kudus has got a new agent. I think it's his family now that are running the show. Listen, I'll be very, very honest with you. If there was any element of truth in this, there would have been many, many more rumors right at the start of the transfer window. They would have been making a big noise right at the start of the window. They wouldn't leave it till 2 weeks before, where we're going to just turn around and go, tough luck. It's not happening, because it is tough luck. Because had this rumor been stronger at the beginning of the transfer window, I might have said, hang on a minute, there might be an element of truth in this, because it would have given us the whole transfer window to look for a suitable replacement. We've got 2 weeks to go. We've done our big business in the transfer window. It's a matter of tweaking the squad, as I said in a show I did the other night. It's more tweaking than it is to actually be replacing any major players. I don't believe it will happen. I really don't. And I think it is a bit of shit stirring. I agree with you, huge. Early doors, looking at the signings, it seems that Europe is the target and Cup, which would be great. I've got to be honest with you. We've got to make Europe either through a domestic cup or through in the league. Either way, I'd love a day out at Wembley, wouldn't you? Skitsko, how are you, mate? I hope you're well. We're all good, and I hope you are too. Good evening to you, Stan. How are you, mate? Good evening to you, Danny boy. How are you? I think City and Liverpool are circling. Let them circle. But I really genuinely, I mean, who am I to say? But I really genuinely don't think anything will happen in this window. If we don't make Europe at the end of this season, then we might start talking about one or two of our big players potentially leaving. We might have to accept that, but I don't think anything is going to materialize in this window. Toha, we do not get dragged down the music rabbit hole as much without usual. I didn't know what that meant, but there you go. Miss Smith. He got the Starboy nickname from his proclivity to star bars, depressingly underrated, if chilled appropriately. I don't like star bars. Sorry about that. Don't let star bars go the way of mint cracknel. We will lose tomorrow. It's fine. Have you been eating too much chocolate and you a little bit fuzzy in the in the head? Good evening to you, John. If you sell Kudus for 100 million, that's only 15 million more than we're getting for him next year. We could get into Europe. That's worth more than 15 million. Logic. Well said. Absolutely correct. His release clause was triggered only in a short period of time in this transfer window, and the same is likely to happen next summer as well. You're spot on. So if anyone triggers his release clause for 85 million, that's only 15 million more. Are we going to risk? Absolutely correct. Possibly losing a place in Europe in order to get 15 more million pounds now? I don't think so. Good point, John. Ricky, it's nice to see Andy Irving has been given a replacement squad number 39 after Wan-Bissaka stole it off him. It is a surprise. I thought Wan-Bissaka would go for number 2, but, he's had 29. It's a bit like that bloke we used to have at our number 41. Can't remember his name, but he wants to take the 29 with him. But fair play to Andy Irving. Going to talk a little bit more about Irving in a minute. Douglas, how are you, mate? Good early evenings from the Outer Banks. Good evening to you, Douglas. I hope you're well. Epic, how are you? I hope you're well. Good evening to you, James. How many years has Kudus left on his contract? I genuinely don't know. He signed a 5-year deal. He's been with us one season. Yes, he has been with us. That means he's got 4 years left. And I think there's an option with a further year on top. So he's got minimum 4 years left. Matt, and going back to that, actually, his contract, now that the release clause has come and gone for this period of time, we could turn around to any club and go, you give us 150 million, he's yours. I don't think we'll let him go. It's what someone said a moment ago. I don't think we'll let him go for 100 million. It's got to be a significant amount of money for us to be able to properly invest that money back into the squad and do it quickly. Because what we'll have to do is we'll have to go for someone pretty big, and it will cost us a lot of money to get a replacement. So what's the point? We might as well keep him. If we're going to have to spend 70, 80, 90 million in order to get 100 million, what's the point? Who else have we got? Kudus, Matt. Kudus said during pre-season he's looking forward to releasing the shackles he wore under Moyes. Absolutely. He's looking forward to the season ahead. Why is he going to go anywhere and then start again? Kevin, Stella, are we looking at Sergi Roberto from Barcelona? Sergi Roberto. I did mention him the other day, but I've got to focus on just one player tonight, and I'll talk about him in just a moment. But I've got to focus just on one player, and then I'm going to show you the squad and explain why the focus is just on the one player. Good evening to you, James. I hope you're well. Matt, Andy Irving left Wan-Bissaka his number as a gesture. When he signed, it wasn't stolen. I think Ricky was joking a little bit. Well, I hope you were, Ricky. Under 21s start the season with a 2-0 win. I didn't know that. I've been working all day. Can you imagine working on a Friday? How dare me? So I didn't know that. So thank you for that update. Let's see what else we got. Danny boy, I think it will be a 1-1 draw tomorrow night. I can't tell because they've got a very good team, but I can't tell what I'm looking forward to it. It's not going to be a walkover without a shadow of a doubt. Toha, will we be doing some tasty commentary on whether the team crisis the halfway line tomorrow? He'll be with me. It won't take him long to start moaning, Toha. So do look out for that. GJ, good evening to you. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining, mate. Good evening to you, Teddy. I hope you're well. I predict 1-1 tomorrow. Going to be a tough start, but as the season goes on, I think we'll progress. I think that's a reasonable prediction, to be honest with you, mate. Yeah. The Aston Villa are no mugs. They're a good team, and they're managed. They're coached by a very good coach as well. James, evening, Stell, and everyone. A pleasure to spend a night here catching up on our team. Welcome, mate. I hope you're well. Again, please, if you are new to the channel, I see a couple of new names on in the chat tonight. So if you've yet to subscribe, please become a subscriber. I'm boring when I say that. I know that. So just do it anyway. David, we have a great chance of a domestic cup with top teams in Europe and our players being rotated. Exciting times. Exactly that. Lumpy Games. How are you? Good evening to you. Thank you for joining. Good evening, Tom. Hack Tom, how are you? Thank you for joining as well. Good evening to you as well, Lee. Bill. I had trouble with screen freezing and losing the live contact at starts. Looks okay now. Probably shocked you were nearly on time. I was wondering a bit because all of a sudden the number of people watching were about 6. And I thought, good grief. Did I actually put it out properly? But it's back all right. Good. I'm glad it is. Mojo, good evening to you, mate. Kudus is probably being touted for sale because he's in my fantasy football team. Good evening, Trini. It's a rumor and people are taking it literally. Anyone buying Kudus will now would have to pay 100 plus. When if they wait until the end of the season, they can trigger his release clause. Exactly that. And it's been mentioned before. Why would we take 100 if it means not making Europe, which could earn us a lot more money? So agree with you, Keith. Being invited to a wedding tomorrow, wife going on her own. I'm not missing football. I'm surprised you're still alive, mate. Are you serious? I mean, it's my other half's. She's going to be hitting, a big birthday in the end of September, and it's the day of the Brentford game, and I've got a ticket. And I kind of said to her today, "What time's the party starting? 6 o'clock. Oh, I'll make it back. Make it back. Yeah, from the game, mate. I hope I'll see you Monday night, Keith." Mark, Fabrizio Romano just reported that Ben Chilwell was going to leave Chelsea. Wouldn't mind him coming on loan with an obligation to buy. Very good in my opinion, and homegrown too. We've got more homegrown players than we can. Did you hear? I mean, that's the new. I'm going to come up with the news in a minute. Danny Boy, Claret and Booze, it comes from there. I'm going to message Nick and find out where he got it from. But people are saying it's come from Harry Redknapp. So I'm guessing Nick sort of just repeated what Harry Redknapp has said in an interview. Early doors, over 110, 45. Thank you very much, Early doors. Much appreciated. Good evening to you, Jerry. How are you, mate? Happy new season. I like that. GJ, I hear Moyes has been blasting out the Was Not Was hit from the 80s. Walk the Dinosaur. I've got that album actually somewhere. Who else we got here? James. All the mainstream sports media would have been all over the Kudus story if it was true. That's a good point again. Absolutely good point. Mike, good evening to you. It's much like the night before Christmas. I can't wait. Fulham played with Man United, but didn't have the final ball. Bring on Soler. Greg Lane, and I heard Man United got lucky again. Surely teams would have signed him when his release clause was activated, or they would have at least tried, but the thing is, apparently that was kept secret. Well done, West Ham, for actually keeping his release clause secret, because it had a small time frame. And I think I found out about 2 days before the release clause was going to end, the time frame was going to end, and I was told you can't say anything. And I don't think any of us did. I don't think any channels did. It's like, bite your nails. Let's hope no one finds out. Now everyone knows he's got a release clause, so there'll be bids coming in every day of next summer transfer window. Miss Smith, he did say he might not be there by the end of the transfer window. Who? Harry said about Kudus? Miss Smith, I'd take 100 million and get Duran and Soler. We have far too much quality to worry about Kudus now. I want him in the team. I think he's going to be an absolute second season in the Premier League. Can you imagine, his first season was settling in and look how good he was. Can you imagine how good he's going to be now that he is settled into his second season? He's going to be outrageous. And why would we even contemplate allowing another Premier League team to take advantage of that? No way. I wouldn't take 100. With the greatest of respect, I respect your opinion, but no way. Apache, good evening to you. Tomorrow can't come quick enough. Hopefully, once our game starts, the transfer rumours malarkey will end. It won't, unfortunately. 2 more weeks of it, mate. Darren, good evening to you. I hope you're right. Stella, I haven't changed sex just yet, but I get your point. I hope I'm right as well, but I think it's a rumour that I'm now being told Redknapp never said it. James, am I right? Am I the only one that hoped Duran coming to us doesn't happen? It could be a gamble, but there must be a good reason why Steiden has been chasing him all summer. There's got to be a good player in there somewhere. I'd be surprised if we want to spend over 30 million for him, to be honest, if he isn't good enough. I just wonder. Scott, why would we sell Kudus for 100 mil over 5 years when we can keep him for another year, get paid 85 million? It makes no sense to sell him now. We just saw what Tim can do with 90 million. Exactly. Exactly that. Early doors. Put it this way, if the rumour is true with Liverpool, they need to sell to get players in, plus no one wants to sign for them, it looks like. Another really good point. Daniela to GJ. He said he could or might leave the fact that he said anything like that is bad form from him. What do you expect from the Judas he is? Who are you talking about now? Aaron, let Liverpool and City circle. They'll be circling zeros on a check if they want him. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hammer 84. But the 85 million starts again next summer. It does indeed, is my understanding. It does indeed. Keith, I have hid behind the sofa post-season, but I pop out and see this West Ham team. Damn, bring the season on. Frano. I'm overly excited about this season. I think we should aim for top six. I think we should aim for top six. Would I be disappointed if we don't get it? Mildly. I'll tell you why mildly. Because as I said, let's not forget, it's not just West Ham United that have been improving their squads. You know, Villa have done it and various other teams have done it. We're going to be surprised by one or two teams, I think, this coming season. It's not just us. I think we bought quality. There's absolutely no doubt. We've been very careful about the players we've been bringing in. And as I said in the show the other day, we've been making sure that we've been improving where we needed to. We all love Soufal, but we know we need another right back. We know we needed better centre backs. We know we needed another central midfielder. We know we needed a left-sided attacking player. We know we needed a striker. We got all of those now. Early doors. Hammer 84 guessed it would come down to how this season progresses. Could convince him to stay or move on. Let's say, for argument's sake, and I know I'm dreaming, but bear with me. Let's say, for argument's sake, we make Champions League at the end of this season. Kudus or Paquetá or anyone else for that matter is going nowhere. GJ, I think it's being taken out of context. I had never had the feeling Redknapp said Kudus was going to leave. The other guys shut it down anyway. Okay, that's good. Kudus' contract is till 28 with an option for one more. Yeah, I got that right. For another 4 years plus an extra option of a year. Will, good evening, mate. I hope you're well. I don't agree with Bowen being captain. That's interesting. It is interesting that Bowen has become captain. Do I agree with it? He said he's relishing it. You know, he doesn't feel it's going to be a burden for him. I guess we're going to see in his performances, aren't we, Ralph? I'm going to enjoy tomorrow as long as I see us playing football again, win, lose, or draw. Absolutely good point as well. Am I catching up? I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me go into some of the stuff that I want to talk about because there's a few things. And in brief, the one thing that we have been talking about throughout this season has been concessions. Now, if you recall, I had Paul Colburn from Hammers United on the channel about a week and a half or so ago, and we were talking about concessions. And what happened is that West Ham United decided that they would be doing away with concession tickets in bands 1 to 4 in the stadium. And there was an outrage, an outcry, and absolutely correct that there's an outcry because, there's a lot of fans who have reached retirement age, or there's a lot of fans with young children who want to bring their kids to West Ham United to watch games. And all of a sudden, if you're having to pay adult prices for every single ticket you buy, let's say a family of 4, mum, dad, and 2 kids, that's going to cost you for something like Chelsea 400 quid to go and see one game. So what Hammers United did, what the West Ham United Independent Supporters Committee did, and Save Our Concessions on Twitter, etc., they all sort of started to campaign against this decision. Now, earlier in the week, West Ham United, they came to some kind of moderate agreement where from any AAA games, so games like against Chelsea, Man City, probably Arsenal, teams like that, concession tickets will be available only in bands 5 and 6 for now. Whereas bands 1 to 4, they'll still be full price. So at least if you're going to a one-off game and you want to watch, take the kids, etc., you'll get some concession prices in some parts of the stadium. That's all very well. However, the battle goes on because that's not enough. What West Ham, and when it comes to any games that are categorized as B or C games, then there'll be concession prices for all the bands. So games that are A, whatever they're titled at, will be only concessions in bands 5 and 6. And then games that are classified B and C, you'll get concessions for all the bandings between 1 and 6, which is a moderate success, which is good. However, what Hammers United want to keep doing, what West Ham United Independent Supporters Committee want to keep doing is get concessions back to where they were, not for all tickets, not just for match day tickets, but also concessions back for season ticket holders as well. So if I, in 5 years' time, when I hit that pensionable age, I want to be able to go and buy my reduced price season ticket rather than having to continue to pay full price. So the battle goes on, but it's a moderate success, and well done to everybody involved that has seen that happening. Now, this story was interesting, wasn't it? Divin Mbama, we all said he should have stayed at West Ham. He should have signed a new contract. And all of a sudden, we heard today that he's going, well, the last couple of days, he's going to Manchester City. An agreement has been made. A settlement fee has been agreed without it going to arbitration. That Man City have agreed to give West Ham £1.2 million for Divin Mbama to join them. Now, why? I mean, he's left on a free, so why pay him? Because he developed through the youth academy. So we can get some kind of compensation in order, to a bit of payback for the development that he had at West Ham. But I'm surprised. I'm sure many people are surprised that Mbama is going to Manchester City. Look, Jamal Baptiste, if you remember him, our central defender, he went to Manchester City this time last summer. He was released this summer. I don't know what's going to happen with Obama. I think it's a little bit of a nice deal for Man City because they take him. They might keep him for a season. They may use him. They may not. They may send him out on loan. But even if they end up keeping him for a season and decide to sell him, they'll probably sell him for £5 or £6 million because he'll have a long contract and very clever. Very clever of Manchester City. Good luck to him. Look, good luck to him. Seriously and truly, good luck to him. But it is a surprise. Now, another surprise earlier in the week is we heard that Crescencio Somerville is now regarded as a homegrown player. When everyone was saying he's definitely not homegrown, the FA, West Ham United have said, by the way, he's homegrown. So we've now got 9 homegrown players in the squad. And I'm going to talk about the squad in just a moment. So, yeah, bonus in some ways, because if you want to get sell a homegrown player, we're not having to scurry around looking for another homegrown, which is what I've been saying all along. If we sell one of our homegrown players, we're going to have to get a replacement because obviously, I'm sure you all know, when you submit a 25-man squad, you need 8 homegrown players in that squad. Somerville makes it 9. So interesting. But the story I want to talk about more than anything else at this moment is Carlos Soler. Now, according to the club senior source, West Ham United do have an interest in a potential transfer for this midfielder from PSG. But the senior source stated, we'd like to get Soler, but we can't afford the signing on fee or the wages. We have seriously overspent. Now, in his series of interviews this week, Hula Lopetegui suggested that, excuse me a second, Ruben Lopetegui suggests that he wants 2 players for every position in the squad. And despite praising the transfer business that's been done by the club already, he suggested that we're not quite there yet when it comes to having 2 players in every position. Now, I'll come to that point in a moment because the message might suggest that Lopetegui considers his midfield options are not adequate enough. Or not to his liking, and that Soler could be one final piece of the jigsaw. Let's look at the squad to give you an indication. Now, I think it's quite interesting, and I'll explain all these markings to you in just a moment. I think it's quite interesting because when you look on paper, we do have 2 players for every position. Goalie, there's three goalies on the right side. We've got Wan-Bissaka with Soufal. Small question mark over whether Soufal stay. I think Soufal will probably stay for the season, but there's a small question mark over him. We've got Todibo, of course, backed up by Mavropanos. I know there's been talk about Mavropanos leaving, but I'm not so sure just yet. I know there's an awful lot of talk about a Gerd leaving, but again, nothing's materialised. But there'll be him and Kilman on the left side, and of course, Creswell and Emerson over on the left back. And then we've got players like, for example, another question mark over Ward-Prowse with Rodriguez next to him. I'm going to come to Soler in a minute. And then on the right side, you've got the likes of Bowen with Guilherme. And that hat there indicates he'll be part of the academy. He'll be registered as part of the academy squad this coming season. Doesn't mean to say that he can't play in the senior squad. It's just that because he's under 21, he doesn't have to be registered in the senior squad. And then we got Paqueta and another question mark over Souček. And then on the left side, I'm a bit puzzled that we've got Kudus on the left with Somerville. I think Kudus will find he's going to have a much freer role than just being put out on the left-hand side. And then, of course, up front, we got Fulkrug and Antonio. Now, there are three players who I've got a bigger question mark over. Andy Irving, who I'm going to talk about in a moment. There's Maxwell Cornet and Danny Ings. I think West Ham United doing the tweaking. I said earlier that I think we've done the main part of our business now. We've done the essential part of our business. Now we're at the tweaking stage. And the tweaking stage is, I'll go back to Soler. Bringing Soler in is going to fill a couple of holes in a way. First of all, I'm not suggesting he'll be the only a backup to Alvarez, but there'll be another option by bringing Soler in midfield. But also, we've got to consider what might happen to Paquetá later on this year. Now, we hear conflicting stories that Paquetá is going to be with us until the end of the season, and then another story to suggest that maybe the charges might sort of pop up again by around the new year, by January. And if he's banned, then we're going to need a replacement as well there. So I think Soler coming in makes a lot of sense. He will give us the two players in every position at this moment in time. You can pair them up in different ways. I'll leave you to decide how you want to pair up. You want to pair up Soler with Rodriguez. You want to pair up Alvarez with Rodriguez. I'll leave you to decide that. What I'm trying to demonstrate is with Soler coming in at this moment in time, we know Zuma is gone. We know he's still over in Dubai trying to sort out his future, whether it be with Shabab Al Ali or another club. But we know he won't be part of the squad next season. On the right side, I think there'll be three players that if we can get offers for them, I think they'll be gone as well. Andy Irving, Maxwell Cornet and Danny Ings. And when the senior source says, we've spent a lot of money, I think he's going to be looking especially at the likes of Cornet, who's on about 70 grand a week, and the likes of Danny Ings, who's on over 100 grand a week. In order to free up money, in order to free up another place in the squad, they'll be the sort of players that West Ham United, Cornet and Danny Ings, they'll be the sort of players that potentially West Ham would want to move on, so that it can save a bit of money in salaries. Soler is on about 90 grand a week himself, at PSG, 90 give or take. So in order to sort of compensate that, you move someone like Cornet on, or you move someone like Danny Ings on, there's your money back. Of course, one could argue you could sell Kudus, but for me, Soler is not a replacement for Kudus. Absolutely not. It could be a replacement for Souček. That's why I got the small question marker over him. He could be a replacement for James Ward-Prowse. That's why I got a question mark over him as well. And as I said a moment ago, with Somerville now being regarded as a homegrown player, if we sell either Danny Ings or James Ward-Prowse, we've got our 8 homegrowns. We don't have to go out and look for a homegrown player. Hence, Soler being, again, quite an obvious choice. And that's why when Lopetegui said, we're not quite there yet with having 2 players in each position, I get it now, because I'm looking at the squad and I'm thinking to myself, well, what do you mean? And because let's say Soler's not there, you could actually put Irving alongside Alvarez and you'll say there's your 2 per every position. So now I get it with if Irving's going, or if Souček goes, or if James Ward-Prowse goes, there's Soler coming in to be that replacement. So it's interesting. Now, why Soler? Well, he's a very, very decent footballer, to say the least. Developed in the Valencia Academy. He made his senior debut for Valencia at the age of 19. He was part of the team that beat Barcelona in the Copa del Rey. It was their first trophy, first success, Valencia, for 11 years. He was part of that. He was a top goal scorer for 2 successive seasons as a midfielder. He made 276 appearances for Valencia in total. And in 2022, he moved to Pitt. Now, interestingly, he signed a couple of new contracts when he was still at Valencia. And one of the new contracts he signed was going to keep him there till 2021, I think. And they put in a release clause of 80 million euros. And then when it got close to that, they got him to sign a new contract, which would have kept him there till 2023. And there was a 150 million euro release clause in his contract. And yet, he signed for PSG for 18 million euros. You try working that one out. What's it worth having a release clause if you're not going to try and get a team to trigger it? And interestingly, he was a Spain international, but, and here's the irony with this player, his last Spain appearance was in the same year that he signed for PSG. And why is that? Because apart from being a mainstay in the Valencia team, since he's moved to PSG, he's made barely any. He's hardly played. I think he's made about 60 odd games, of which about 18 of them has been as a starter in 2 seasons. And I think that this is the sort of thing that happens with players when they go to big clubs or clubs with a lot of money. They can buy up anyone, and they'll buy players up, and then for most of these players, they end up languishing on the bench more than they're playing, and you just wonder what's the point of going to a team. Great, kudos to play before one of the biggest teams or one of the richest teams in the world, or in the country, or in the Europe or whatever. But what's the point if you're not going to play? And I think Soler is open to moving to West Ham United. But what's so special about him? What makes him different, from any other player? Well, first of all, he's versatile. He's a versatile footballer. He started his career, interestingly, in the academy of Valencia as a striker, and then he moved back to an attacking midfielder, and then he moved to a central midfielder. He's more he's not a defensive midfielder. He's more of a box-to-box midfielder. But he's versatile. He can play in a number of positions. Ironically, PSG have even used him as a left back in a game. He's got a great passing range. He's a fantastic on the ball. Even when he's under pressure, he's the sort of player that the ball sticks to him, even when he is being put under pressure. He's a great set piece specialist. James Ward-Prowse doesn't score a free kick for us. Maybe it will happen this season, but Soler is just as good technically as a set piece specialist. He is a technically excellent footballer, and that makes him the ideal kind of midfielder, the ideal kind of player that Lopetegui wants. Someone who's versatile, someone who can play in a range of different positions, someone who can actually improve the team rather than just being a bit part player. Now, what other reason might we want to bring him in? And I mentioned it a moment ago. Could be that should anything happen with Paqueta in this season, we don't know when the charges are going to be brought forward, when the hearing's going to happen. It could happen at any time. As I said at the beginning of the show, it could happen right at the end of the season. It could happen in a few weeks. It probably, from what I'm understanding, it probably will be heard in January. Let's say, for argument's sake, we lose Paqueta whilst he's going through an appeal. Now, I don't know, because it's unprecedented, because nothing like this has happened before. We don't know whether, if he does get banned, whether the ban will be immediate, or whether the ban could be put to one side whilst he's appealing. We don't know that just yet. So why not get someone like Soler in, who can become part of the squad, and if need be, he could be the sort of player that could replace Paqueta if we lose him throughout the season. It's an astute move by West Ham United, to be honest with you. It's a move that I think makes an awful lot of sense. I know we're still linked to several other players, but if you go back to this this setup, you could see where the question marks are. I should have put question marks, small question marks over Mavropanos and Agurd as well. And what's going to happen at this moment in time is, my understanding is, it's going to be one in, one out. So if we go for another right back, it looks like we'll definitely be seeing Soufal leaving. If we get another centre back, it could be because either Mavropanos or Agurd is leaving. If we get Soler, it could be because we're looking at the likes of either Irving, Cornet, James Ward-Prowse, or even Thomas Soucek leaving the club. So he will be a replacement, direct replacement for one of those players. If we get another striker, I know there's a lot of speculation that we still might get John Duran, could be as a loan to buy after tomorrow, of course, because it doesn't look like Villa ever wanted to sell him to us before the game. If we get another striker in, then that looks like it means Danny Ings is going. So there's still potentially one or two bits of business to go. But at this moment in time, it looks like the biggest move is for Carlos Soler. He seems good. Well, not seems good. He sounds excellent, to be quite honest with you. And it's going to be quite interesting to see how that develops. Now, I said I was going to talk about Irving. Now, poor Andy Irving. First of all, he had his shirt taken away from him by Aaron Wan-Bissaka when he came to the club, the number 29 shirt. And now there's rumour. Well, there's interesting rumour, because apparently Atalanta and Espanyol are looking to make bids for the player. Look, I just don't know, to be honest with you. Okay, let's try and put it in context. If Lopetegui has been saying we don't quite yet have a player for each position, that is probably a big alarm bell to suggest that Andy Irving is not part of Lopetegui's plans. That will suggest, if we look at this setup, that could suggest that Lopetegui will be happy with Fulkrug and Antonio up front. That could suggest that Cornet, the likeliest place that he could start in, could be either on the left side of attacking play or on the right side of attacking play. But I think Guilherme will get that chance to have a few games behind Bowen. And I think we'll see a lot of Somerville. Like I said, I think we'll see a lot of Kudus as well, maybe around about in the middle of the park. So I don't think Cornet is going to be a player that, if we get a bid for him, I think he will go. So poor Andy Irving, not only has he's lost his shirt, quite literally, now looks like he'll be leaving West Ham before he makes any senior appearance in a competitive game. Let's see what happens there. Now, before I go on to the game tomorrow, let's go back into your chat and see what you guys have to say about what I've been saying. Matthew, good evening to you. Liverpool are keeping their powder dry until next season. A lot of the top guns are out next season, and City ain't dropping the kind of wedge until they know about their fate. Very good point about Man City as well. They're being charged. Who knows what's going to happen there? I agree with you, Matthew. I think Kudus is staying as well. James, looking forward to a new era starting tomorrow. What will happen if we lose tomorrow? What would the feeling be like? I mean, Ralph said, win, lose or draw, so long as we see good football. Trini, if we had to sell Kudus, I would stick £110 million price tag on him, then chuck a big offer to Palace for Eze. Would rather keep Kudus, though. That's a good shout. That's a very good shout. And people have agreed with you in the chat there, mate. It has to be Fofana from Monaco. Well, it looks like AC Milan are a lot closer now than they were. But of course, I said on the Monday night show, I'd love Fofana. Is he gone already? I'd love Fofana to come to us. Clive, I'm actually in favour of Blown as a captain. He's earned the right to be a recognised leader and senior member. I think it's going to give him, I don't think it's going to be a burden for him. I think he's going to relish it. I really do hope he does. It's weird because a winger as a captain, it's kind of a little bit unprecedented, I guess. Good afternoon to you from the States, James. Thank you for joining, mate. Really much appreciated. John, good evening, mate. I hope you're well. We'll get Duran after the Villa game. A lot of people are speculating that. James, good evening, mate. Thank you for joining as well. I hope you're well. Who else have we got in the chat? Let's scroll down. Let's get some comments in. Hi, Steve. I hope you're well. I would take an FACH. FA, I didn't know what that meant. FA Cup? FA Challenge? Sorry, mate. Retype that and I promise to read it out. Alf, how are you? I hope you're well, mate. Good evening to you. I hope all is well with you. Haven't seen you for ages. Martin, don't forget, Stel, a happy wife is a happy life. Kevin, sure is. I've heard that there's going to be a massive banner in the bottom. There is. Going to be over my head, literally over my head, because I'm in the Bobby Moore lower. Yes, apparently so. They did it before. I can't remember doing it before. A couple of seasons ago. Usual. Chilwell will not be the same player since his serious injury. There you go, Steve. We'll take the FA Cup and take top six. Let's not be greedy, one or the other. Why not both? Teddy, can't see Kudus leaving. It would be understandable if we don't get Europe, but I think we're more than capable. I agree. Totally agree. Jiha, do you guys and girls like the J-Lo war cry video? I think it was good. I love it. I love it. I love what everyone has been saying since they signed for West Ham. Fulkrug, I think is going to be a beast. Can't wait to see him crunching a few players in the Premier League this season. Proper big, tough German getting out there, smashing it. Lee, the legend Keith Knight is an inspiration to us all. Single life is great. Alf, have we overdone it with new transfers? Love to see them bed in quickly, but will be difficult to get a cohesive team straight away. I don't know if it will be, to be honest with you, Alf. And no, 8 is decent. Let's not forget, as I said in previous shows, we've got a good nucleus of 6 players. Areola in goal, Emerson at left back, Kudus and Paquetá in the middle, Bowen out wide. We've got to, if you go back to this again, we've got I start again. Areola at right back, solid. Emerson at left back, I think solid. Alvarez in the middle, Paquetá in the middle, Kudus as well. Bowen, we've got a good nucleus there, so we're not going to see all 8 players starting tomorrow. Highly unlikely, and I'll get on to the Villa game in a moment. But no, I don't think we've overdone it. Were excellent, mate. Indeed. Scott, good evening to you. I'm at a family function, so I'll watch after. Cheers. Hope you enjoy it, Scott. Don't do what Keith does by leaving the wife on her own. I mean, it's not like I'm missing my wedding. I was at that one. Thank God for that, despite there being something on TV that I wanted to watch. Fair play to you, mate. Fair play. James, could us the excitement machine have to keep? We will keep him. Trini, if teams were really sniffing around Kudus, they would have known about his release clause. Spot on. No matter how hard we work to keep it quiet. Yeah, good shout. Good shout. That's a good point. CM, do you think the accountants at West Ham would let them just spend until they overspent? Get real. Absolutely not. We know that's not true, mate. Look, I've no doubt we have spent money, but I think net at the moment is standing at something like, give or take, what's 80 million, maybe 90 at most at net. The amount of money we spent to the amount of money we brought in. So don't be fooled. Well, Scott, where do we see Souček going? Germany? Could be. It's going to be interesting. If, like I said earlier on, if Soler does come in, Souček could be one of the players that's going. Kansas Storm, good evening to you. Has Man City bought Mabama to prepare for their point deduction and relegation to the Championship? If they get points deduction and relegation, they might go a bit lower than the Championship, but very good shout, Kansas. He'd be the sort of player they need in the Championship. The irony. The irony. Oh, mate, do you want to come to Man City? Of course I do. Great. Just one problem. What's that then? You'll be our player You'll be our starter in the Championship. The irony. Miss Smith. Who the clunge is Miss. Who the clowns are pretending to be Miss Smith? Duel me, mate. Tell me your real name, and I'll call you by that. But as it stands at the moment, it's Miss Smith. Usual to keep. A wife is for life, not just for Christmas. Coletza, good evening to you. Kudus under Moyes in first season was great. Imagine what he can be achieving with attacking freedom. Absolutely. Lee, evening to you, mate, as well. I can't think of a better player at doing Kudus things than Kudus. I love him. Absolutely. Trini, Kudus won't go anywhere to sit on the bench also. Very good point again. Mate, you're coming up some gems tonight. Seriously. Let's scroll down. Who else have we got? GJ. Redknapp didn't say it. He heard a rumor from someone else. He didn't say Kudus was going to leave. Okay, so do you see how things change? You know, so it wasn't Redknapp that said it. It was someone else that said it, and Redknapp repeated it. Well done, Harry. Trini, the thing about triggering the release clause means we get all the money up front in one go. Does that mean that? I'm not sure it always does, to be quite honest with you. You might be right. I'm going to have to check that. I'm not so sure. Colin, good evening to you. I've heard we won't be after Duran now, but after Tammy. Yeah, I spoke about Tammy Abraham the other day, and it's been one of those stories that sort of started at the beginning of the transfer window. It went quiet, and now it's re-emerged again. I'm not so sure, to be quite honest with you. £25 million. He's come back from a very serious injury. Roma need to get rid of him. There's a lot of ramping up about him leaving the club. I'm not sure, is the honest truth, if we really are in for him. Obsidian, is it Monday and did we win? I'll let you know on Monday. Toha, isn't that Brighton manager younger than a couple of players we transferred in? I don't know. You're probably right. I don't know how old he is. He is quite young though. Anthony, West Ham to win the Premier League, 150-1. That's worth a little bet, isn't it? Darren, apologies for calling you Stella stupid. It's all right, mate. I'm all good with it. Don't worry. Little burp. Imagine if you do a big one. What's your name? I need to call you. Otherwise, I'm going to call you Miss Smith, especially with those toenails there. Bill, 74 goals passed to quality keepers. Only Moyes didn't realise we needed change. Yeah. Trini, I prefer my captain not to be a forward player as much of the game goes on behind them. I get that. And I'm a bit old fashioned that way as well. I prefer it to be a centre back or a midfielder. So it is a little bit odd, but let's see how it goes. Clive, Stell, if we get top four, do you think we will strengthen the squad again? Of course we will. Because there's a couple of players. Antonio will be out of contract by the end of this season. Creswell will be out of contract. There's a couple of other players that I think will be out of contract. And absolutely, we absolutely will strengthen again. Imagine if we keep most of the players we brought in this summer, keep Bowen and Paqueta and Kudus and all these other players, and then add to that as well. Blimey. Champions League winners. Champions League. I did say that out loud. David, Green Street Champs football will definitely bring next level players in. Absolutely. Greg, good evening to you. City are interested in Kudus to replace Bob, who had broken his leg. Okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know he had. But as someone else just said, I'm not so sure City are going to be splashing the cash when they don't know what they're. They'll get away with it, but they're not buying Kudus. GJ, I moved from my previous apartment because of bad neighbours. My new flat, I had the best neighbours ever. Then moved out within 2 weeks of the new neighbours moving in. 8 CID come to arrest the guy. Where do you live? In a war zone? Early doors. West Ham and City still thrashing out. I've heard it's 1.2 million. I thought it was all agreed, but I'll make you right if I'm wrong. Thank you for letting me know. Matt, he'll be loaned out and then sold, Mabama. That's what I think, Matt. It's exactly what I think. Bill, Mabama has gone for the glory signing, but will never play for them. They have signed him for the profit on resale and that only. Exactly. Clive, City sell Cole Palmer and buy Mbama sounds strange to me. That's not what I said. I said if we sell Kudus and then we come and buy Cole Palmer as a replacement, even then, I'd still have Kudus, to be honest with you. Even then. Greg, Need to get wages off the bottom line so we can bring in new players. Too many big earners warming their asses on the bench. That I agree with. And as I mentioned, when I go back to this graphic again, the likes of Danny Ings on 100 plus grand a week, the likes of Maxwell Cornet on about 70 grand a week. Souček is earning a pretty decent wage, 80 odd grand a week. I believe James Ward-Prowse is on about the same, 80 odd grand a week. There's a lot of players on big money. Have I frozen? Seriously, I'm not seeing anything, so I do apologise if it has frozen. We're back to normal again. I do apologize. Normally, I see a sign coming up in the corners telling me that my Wi-Fi is down, and I've not seen anything. So my apologies if you've had an interference. Scott, I got told by a Brazilian, apparently, get rid of that. I got told by a Brazilian, apparently, it was his mother-in-law placing these bets. He said it was everywhere in Brazil media, but not over here for Paqueta, his mother-in-law. That's a worry, to be honest with you. That is a worry. Greg, don't think we will play both holders in the main, so Paqueta will drop in to bring Kudus in central and Somerville on the left. I think we will see a combination of, to be honest with you, Greg. I think there'll be times, I agree with you, that we'll see that, and there'll be other times against certain teams we might see the two holding midfielders, and then maybe having to push. I don't like it, but maybe having to push Kudus out on the left side. Patrick, Solar plays more a Paqueta role, absolutely. Sorry, I signed in just to mention that. That's absolutely fine, mate. I'm glad you did, and thank you for joining. 240 people watching. I'm absolutely amazed. If you've yet to become a subscriber, please do become a subscriber of the channel. Costs you nothing to do so, and all the content is free. So yes, and I agree with you. Soler is a bit of Paqueta, and as I said earlier on, should we lose Paqueta at any stage this season, then Soler would be a great alternative, a great replacement for him. So good shout there, Patrick. Thank you for that. Let's scroll down. Greg again. Of course, Bill, but only in the top 4 or 5 teams, and away at some others need to dominate. Oh yeah, we're talking about formation and players, etc. Good evening to you, Hammerette. How are you? Well, I know I forgot to. I'm so bad. I didn't tell any of the moderators that I was going to come on. Apache, Solero, Cornetto. We're building a team of ice creams. Matt again, set piece specialist. That's the curse right there, like JWP had on his head. Good evening, Graham. I know, mate. Well, Friday nights, I used to do late nights, and then it all went quiet, and I'm back doing them again. They're going to happen about once a month, roughly-ish. Let's scroll down. Andrew, if Paqueta is exonerated, will City come back in for him in January? Either way, his replacement needs to be bought in so he can settle in. To be honest with you, I don't know. I think it all depends on what happens this season. I think if we're having a really good season, I don't see any players turning around and going, I really like to go now. Maybe at the end of the season, maybe different, but not now. Ralph, Soler looks good on paper. Soler's better than just on paper, to be honest, mate. He's fantastic for Valencia. But like I said earlier on the show, you get these really good players. They get signed up by big teams, a lot of money, and then they disappear. It happens, doesn't it? David, after this great window, am I wrong to want more? Absolutely not. It makes you hungry for it, doesn't it? Matt, if Duran signs, I hope he's hungry like the wolf. We did all this, or did we? I don't know. But ding, ding, well done. Danny Boy. Earthy, first game for Bristol City tomorrow against Millwall. What a baptism of fire that will be. Andrew, Irvin has been given the number 39 shirt. Absolutely. Patrick, I can't see us getting rid of any of the players mentioned. It will be absolutely difficult. It will be, because it's not just now that we've been trying to move a couple of these players on, like Cornet, Gerd, etc. We're just not getting people interested. And so I agree with you. Will be difficult. Mark, Man City did get it. So Man City did get found guilty and were relegated into League One. Who would you try and buy from City to help improve the team? Good question. What's the striker's name? Him. I'd go and get him. I'd offer them 25 million. and see what happens. David, he would definitely score. Danny Boy, it always happens. Andrew, would be bittersweet if we sold Kudus. Would be gutted. All right, look, you know, don't worry. It really isn't going to happen. Colin, not this season, not this summer. I believe we'll be getting rid of Socek, Ward-Prowse, Ings, Antonio, Cornet, and Pearl Steiden will get young and dynamic replacements. I can see this happening. I don't think in the last 2 weeks, to be honest with you, mate. I think we've got possibly one or two more transfers to happen, and potentially some of these players that you mentioned will go, and then we'll replace like for like. But yeah, I don't think we'll get rid of all of them. Graham, if we lose but perform well, it won't matter that much. We're a huge work in progress. Absolutely. Liam, what's the lowest people would expect from Kudus? The lowest at this moment in time, like I said earlier on, and I'm not kidding when I say it, is scare them off. 150 million, or leave it until next summer. Stephen, I can't see Villa letting Duran go. A lot of noise from the management there. Fan base, not so sure. Mojo, if we lose tomorrow, the careful what you wish for brigade will be vocal again. I'm excited to see what Loppy can do with this squad over time after the newbies are bedded in. Let's hope, let's really, really hope we don't have what we had last season with the Moyes in and the Moyes out brigade. That really tore the fan base apart. And I really actually hope that doesn't happen. Mojo, to be honest with you, mate, I really hope fans don't start turning on each other, going, there you go, he's lost the game and it's all shit. I hope that really doesn't happen. Mihailo, long time no see. I hope you're well. It's a shame 4 hours left. He would flourish under Lopetegui. Absolutely agree. Frano, as long as JL puts them all in line, puts them all in lineup, and we have creativity to bring the ball forward, there will be goals for sure. I think there'll be goals. It's just making sure that we've now strengthened the defense and that in front of the midfield, in front of the defense as well. Matt, wonder if Fulcrum talked to Kane about the Premier League. It may well have done. Matt, interesting comment. Teddy, is it still up to us whether we want to sell Kudus until next summer? It's up to any club that wants to sell any player, to be quite honest with you. The release clause, as I said, will be there again next summer, again potentially for a certain period of time. But if we decide that we want to cash in on him because we've got other players coming in, we could do that. If, for example, Steiden turned around and said, do you remember Kevin Keegan, who was managing Newcastle United, and Andy Cole was up for sale? And do you remember that he had a whole load of fans going back some time, but he had a whole load of fans outside the stadium, and he was talking to them and he was going, look, trust me, I know what I'm doing, but it's like, oh, you're selling Andy Cole, our best striker, to Man United. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Why are you selling Andy Cole? And then he got and bought Alan Shearer. Now, if Steiden did the same with Kudus, if Steinen turned around and said, we are selling Kudus, but trust me, then that means we'll have someone as good as, if not better than, lined up to replace him. Now, if I heard that from West Ham, I'll say, all right, fair play, sell him. But I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. Liam, what's the lowest West Ham would expect for Kudus if he does that? I said, slap 150 million, scare him off, tell him to come back next summer. Bill, Trini is correct with release clause, money up front. Okay, thank you for that. I didn't realize. Trini again, thankfully for me, my wife is as big a football fan as I am. I wish mine was. He's 31 years old, the Brighton manager. Yeah, you're absolutely right. We have signed players older than him. Pat Holland fan, how are you? Very well. I hope you are too. I'm definitely looking forward to this start of the season more than last season. Ironics, good evening to you. Why do fans have this so high expectations for this season of change and transition? I'll tell you why I've got high expectation. I'll tell you now. The first season that Lopetegui was at Sevilla, I've said this before. The first season that Lopetegui was at Sevilla, in that summer, he signed 18 players. Monchi, who is now the technical director at Aston Villa, was his technical director at Seville. And between them, Monchi signed 18 players. They got rid of 21 players in that summer, the first summer that Lopetegui took over Seville. Do you remember what happened with Seville that season? They finished 4th in La Liga, and they won the Europa League. So they had 2 opportunities to get into the they got themselves 2 opportunities to get into the Champions League. That's why I've got high expectations. Now, look, all right, getting into the top 4, it's a tall order because, as I said earlier on in the show, it's not just West Ham that have been improving their squad. Everybody else has been doing it as well. So, but I think I am confident we're gonna have a decent season. What would a decent season show us? I think, excuse me, if we qualify for Europe again, that's a decent season for me. I won't be disappointed though if we don't. If we just miss out, I won't be disappointed. Don't get me wrong. It'll be like, oh well, never mind. But I won't be disappointed. But we've got to accept that the burden of that is that if we don't make Europe for a second season, we will lose players like Kudus, etc. GJ always said that a central defender should be captain. Billy Bonds, Alvin Martin-esque, etc. Teddy. I think the path we're taking leads to becoming a club like Liverpool in the next few years. Fuck me, mate. I hope so. Yes. I hope we do. I hope we become that successful. Andrew, I'm sure Lopetegui and Stein secretly believe we can grab 4th, and the squad will be fighting for it this season. And let's not forget, we don't have the distraction of Europe in order to get us there. A lot of teams that are going to be competing in Europe, playing in Europe as well as playing in the Premier League, are going to be competing for top 4 spots, but they're going to have Europe to contend with. We have got this squad, this depth, and we haven't got Europe to worry about. Anthony, is Spain going to shout and tell the heirs to get their fingers out, their arses? Not going to be like a Martin Bonds. I don't know. He might come into his own. Stel, you froze half an hour ago. Sorry about that. I hope it's all okay now. Danny boy, apparently Bowen is very vocal in the changing room. There you go. There's your answer. Teddy, how far behind am I? Not far. That's good. It feels so much better knowing that we can adapt with this new squad. Unlike last season with Moyesboard, it was just on the starting 11 and hoping. Matt, Liverpool boss Arne Slot has made it compulsory for his players to have breakfast together at the club's training ground. As I'm sure you've heard, Lopetegui's done something similar. He's saying to the players, from now on, we travel to the game all together. We don't go separately in our own cars and all that sort of stuff. We all go in the coach together. We do a number of things together, home games, away games, etc. They all travel together. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think what he does, I could be wrong, but I think what he does for every home game, he gets the team together in a hotel the night before so they can travel in together. I think that's great. Joan. Hi, Stella. Good evening to you, Joan. I hope you're well. Fulham was superb tonight. There are a few clubs that will surprise challengers for the top 10 spots, and I heard they were really unlucky. Michael, evening, Stella. You've done your starting lineup for I haven't yet, mate. Coming to that next very soon. Johnny Mack, good evening to you. I see City has bought, we talked about that earlier. Quite a surprise there. But as a lot of people have said, we think that City have bought him, probably loan him out, and then sell him for a small profit at the end of this season. But good luck to him. Good luck to him. Trini, I read somewhere City's trial won't be until the new year. It won't end until the new year. I don't know, to be quite honest with you. I'm more worried about Paqueta, but you might be right there, Trini. I didn't fart. I didn't fart. But thank you again. Stop spending your £2 on me. I really do appreciate it, but I really didn't fart. Mark, I see Wolves potentially seeing themselves in a relegation battle, not really replacing Kilman or Neto, who they've. So I think they won't. I think they'll be all right, to be honest with you. Michael, 1.1. I heard 1.2, but who's arguing over 100 grand? Colin, I believe we could be top team in London. Every team won't look forward to playing us. I totally agree with that. Do forgive me if I skip some of your comments. I can't honestly put them all up. Michael, hope Duran doesn't play tomorrow. He will score. Hope Duran don't play tomorrow. He will score. And we have pissed him. We haven't pissed him about. Let's get this right. We haven't pissed him about in the transfer window. We made it very clear that we wanted him. So it's not us. It's this club who wanted more money. Platinum Finger, good evening to you. What do you mean if we're having a really good season? I believe, don't you? I always believe. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow's game. And mate, I believed when we were playing Moyes ball, so that's how much I believe. Keith, I live in Villa country, and the locals here are fearing a big loss tomorrow. Wow. Early doors. 252 in the 111 likes. Tickle that button, cost nothing. Help a man out. Thank you very much. And if you are first time viewing and if you've yet to become a subscriber, please do become a subscriber as well as hitting that like button. Johnny, I see Shearer and Lineker said we'll end up 9th or 10th. Fucking Teddy, I feel tomorrow's game is the most important in terms of the players settling in with the squad and getting hopefully off to a good start. Yeah, it might all go a bit wrong tomorrow. Who knows? I don't think it will, but let's see. HTRN. If Lopetegui loses, there will be a riot from some West Ham fans. I hope not. Peter. Father Abrahams is said to be signing for an unnamed Saudi club. Tammy Abrahams, I'm guessing, is what you meant. Under 21s won 2-0 tonight at Brighton. Fantastic start for them. I'm really pleased. Good evening, Andrew. I hope you're well. I don't care what the be careful what you wish for think of. They can go and protest with Merson and bore their mums. Michael, release clause is only the month of July, so it might be the same again next summer as well. Andrew. Rich Keys, Alan Shearer, Paul Merson, Chris Sutton will be praying for a Villa win tomorrow. They'll be salivating. Toby, good evening, mate. How are you? I hope you're well. Good to see you. Got to be a roller coaster of a season. Antonio is going to roll back the years and end up our top goal scorer. No, he ain't. But thank you for that, mate. Good to see you, Toby. I haven't seen you for a while. Greg, if you pay the release clause, you pay all up front. We paid more for Somerville so we could spread the payments. Thank you. I really genuinely didn't know that. So thank you for updating me on that. Michael, just play our best 11 against Villa as all the players learning new systems. So all in the same boat, old and new. What is our best 11? Going to go into the game in just a moment when I catch up with some more comments. GJ, I don't really think there's any outstanding team in the league. Top 4 is on my mind. Rob, that Spanish footy, not the Premier League, mate. I reckon between 6th to 9th, anything higher is a Billy bonus for me. Fair enough. You know, we can all dream. Matt, I wouldn't chuck them all in at once. They need time to gel. I don't think we will chuck them all in at once. I'm getting closer to talking about the squad in just a moment and who I think will be playing. Pat Holland, Loppy will deliver with the boards that support him. So far, he seems to be supported. Absolutely, Alex. I think West Ham will win 3-1 because David Moyes has gone. Please, all West Ham fans, let's get behind our new coach. Toby, Bowen is going to be a brilliant captain. He's the most West Ham man in the whole squad except the academy boys. Good shout. Platinum, I would play Ward, Wan-Bissaka, Tadibo, Kilman, Guido, Somerville, and Fuller. Why? Because the sooner the team gel, the better for us. That's a good point, to be honest with you. Johnny, if I was Danny Dyer, I would be very vocal in the changing room. Ralph was thinking we may lose tomorrow, but I'm a bit more optimistic. Oh, how times have changed. Darren, Areola, Kilman, Wan-Bissaka, Emerson, Tadibo, Sojek, Paqueta, Rodriguez, Kudus, Bone, Antonio. I think I'll make you right on Souček, to be honest with you. Andrew, Forest, Southampton, Leicester look most likely to go. It's going to be interesting, so long as we're not down there, you know. Teddy, you're absolutely right, still. It could go badly in the first few weeks, but it should be worth it by the end of the season. Toby, I'm telling you, still can't wait to see what the Beast can do when he's not the only player in front of the ball. James, well, let's hope he does. We have a forward line of gunslingers and a German Gene Hackman. Ultra. I think we'll play a bit better under Lopetegui than under Moyes, but it won't be exciting football. I think it will be, and it'll be adapted football. It'll be adaptable football. He said it himself when he was asked in his press conference, I think on Thursday, you know, what sort of style are you going to play? You're going to play more attacking. He said, look, I play the style that suits, counter-attacking, attacking, whatever is appropriate against the opposition that we're playing against. And I think that's good. Toby, you think Somerville will start on the left? It's only the position we're not stacked up in. I don't think it will start tomorrow. Right. I'll tell you what, given that I've caught up with the chat, let's talk about tomorrow, because the first thing we've got to do is we've got to acknowledge our opposition, because, as I said at the beginning of the show, we're not the only ones that have actually bought a lot of players in this transfer window. Onana is their biggest purchase. What did he cost them? 50 odd million pounds, something like that. 55 million pounds that they paid for Onana. Is he worth it? Well, we're going to find out. Again, what's going to be interesting is we're going to find out against our freebie Rodriguez, who's going to dominate that midfield. I've got a feeling the Argentinian's going to walk all over Onana, to be quite honest with you. But they've spent money. They got Onana. They got Matson in defence on the left side. We know we wanted him, from Chelsea. We wanted to get him as a left back, and they got him too. I think he was the second biggest signing. Philogene is going to be out wide. I don't know if he'll start tomorrow, but again, they've invested money, and I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. But of course, the player that we've got to watch out for is Ollie Watkins, because let's not forget, they've not only bought reasonably well, they've got good players in that squad as well. And Ollie Watkins is a top striker who we should have bought instead of Ben Rama several years ago, but life doesn't happen that way, does it? So they've got a good team. I think they've got a very good team. What are we likely to field? This is my prediction for Saturday. Areola in goal, of course. I think Wan-Bissaka, and you've got to listen to what Lopetegui's been saying in press conference. Like, he was asked, who would you start? Some of these players have not done pre-season, etc. And he said Wan-Bissaka has had a full pre-season. Kilman, I don't know about, but I'm speculating that he will go. Sorry, not Kilman, Todibo. I'm speculating that he will go with Todibo tomorrow as well, alongside Kilman. Now, look, this is dangerous. 3 new players who have not played alongside each other throughout the whole of pre-season. Todibo only came in last week. Wan-Bissaka only came in the other day. It's only Kilman and Emerson that have come in, that have been at the club. Well, Kilman has been there the whole of pre-season, and Emerson, of course, been there for some time. So it would be a gamble. It would be a risk. But I think Lopetegui will decide that this is a gamble worth taking, because with the greatest of respect to the likes of Agerd and Mavropanos, they've got an error in them. I don't think he's going to relish Lopetegui having one of those players at home against Aston Villa and one of them messing up. I think Todibo will be told to keep it simple, not do anything too fancy, just get himself bedded in. And I think Wan-Bissaka speaks for himself, for itself. He's a decent. Some people are saying he's probably the best right back, or one of the best right backs in the Premier League. We've got him for £15 million. Now, in the middle, Alvarez is not fit. He's on his way back, but my understanding is, and I would love to be surprised tomorrow if he does start. My understanding is he's not just fit enough yet after picking up an injury during international duty for him to start. So I'm not expecting him to even see him on the bench. I think Souček gets the nod. There's a big reason why Lopetegui played Souček the whole 90 minutes last week in our last pre-season friendly against Celta Vigo. He was putting him there to get him acclimatized to play in a deeper role, and I think he'll start alongside Rodriguez. I'm almost certain that's what will happen in the centre of midfield. That, of course, allows Paqueta to play that free role as he did against Celta Vigo in the middle of the park. Bowen out on the right, of course, and I think Antonio gets the nod tomorrow. I actually really do. I think he starts as our number 9 tomorrow. And the one bit that concerns me, and when I keep looking at this image, at this graphic, is Mohamed Kudus playing out on the left. I remember David Moyes getting pelters for playing Kudus out on the left at the tail end of last season. If you remember, he tried all different things. Paqueta played out there and various other players were put out there. And in the end, he just put Kudus out there because it seemed like the most natural choice to make out of the squad that he had available to him. Kudus can do a job there, but a bit like a fish out, ironically, even though he's left-footed, a bit like a fish out of water. He prefers to play in the middle. He prefers to play on the right. He doesn't necessarily prefer to play out left. But I think tomorrow he will start there. I think maybe, depending on how the game is going, it will change. But that's my lineup for Saturday against this team. I think there will be Areola in goal. I think Wan-Bissaka gets the nod. He's had a full preseason. I think he would not take the risk. There's two risks with regards to the centre back. You either risk playing Mavropanos or Agurd, who've got an error in them, or you risk throwing Todibo in the deep end. And I think he will take the gamble and play Todibo. Areola, Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Kilman, Emerson. And then Souček, like I've said, we don't have at this moment in time. You could argue, you could say that he'll play Paqueta deeper alongside Rodriguez, put Kudus in the middle, and then play Somerville out on the left. That could also happen. But my feeling is that he'll start with this lineup. Sorry, I keep breaking it up. Areola, Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Kilman, Emerson, Souček, Rodriguez, Paqueta in the middle, Bowen out on the right, Kudus out on the left, with a free role, really, much freer role than being stuck out on the wing like that, and Antonio getting the nod. And Lopetegui uses his subs. He uses them extensively, so you won't see on the 80th minute 2 players coming on. If he thinks he's going to change it at half time, on 40 minutes, on 60 minutes, on 20 minutes, or whatever, he'll do so. That's the beauty of it. And when you look at what we've got on the bench, you do have the likes of Somerville. You do have the likes of, You do have the likes of Somerville. You do have the likes of James Ward-Prowse. You do have the likes of Fulkrug. So you've got options. You've got options on the bench, and I think he'll make the most of them. Tell me what you think, and I'll put that back up in a moment after I've done a few comments. Let's scroll down. Aaron, did you see Karen Brady's interview with the Sun? I haven't. Talking about Moyes and blaming the supporters on why he left. They loved him. They didn't want him to go. I said that. I did a couple of shows last season. I said the board would rather keep Moyes. They thought he was superb for the club. Getting us into Europe and all that sort of stuff. They absolutely loved him. He was the board's perfect manager in a lot of ways. Matt, Onana is playing for the wrong claret and blue team. Well, I think he's all right, but I bet you we'll have the better of him in middle tomorrow. Andrew, 4-0 Fuller hat-trick, Bowen opener. Oh, wow. Ultra, Onana will look better in Emery's system. Good point. I'll take that. Toby, we finished 6th in Moyes' first full season, didn't we? In his first full season, we did. Andrew, Lopetegui's first seasons at Seville, he finished top 4, also won Europa League. Yeah. Michael, no Villa forwards have played a single minute pre-season. What's his name play? Ollie Watkins, has he not played any minutes? Surprised. Evening to you, Sean. I hope you're well, mate. Again, Nick, what again? Oh, about let's scroll down. How many farts does Nick One collect per week? I have no idea. Giving me a lot of money for it, though. Toby, I'd love to see Paqueta dropped into the 8, Kudus in the 10, and Somerville on the left. I think that's another option, but I do feel Souček will start tomorrow just to keep it strong, steady in the middle of the park, alongside Rodriguez. Let's not forget, Rodriguez is a good player, but it's also his first sojourn into the Premier League. His hand's going to have to be held, and Paqueta is not the person that's going to hold a new player's hand in the middle of the park. Bill, exactly my prediction. Ward-Prowse with Fulkrug to be changes for Souček and Antonio. Toha, that must be worth more than £2. Matt, here's a cue for Sterling chat. AWB or Walker? AWB. Which Walker? Do you mean Walker of Man City or Walker Peters from Southampton? If you're talking about Walker from Man City, great player that he is. What is he, though? 32. Wan-Bissaka is only 26. So for me, Wan-Bissaka. Johnny, I make you right. It was our defence last year, and Loppy will want to shore that up. Absolutely. Mate, a few of us in the chat think you sharted sin as you didn't fart. It's a 5. You are a loony. You are a nutcase, but thank you. Michael, 20 goals less last season would have been in Europe this season with points gained. There you go. I don't think we're going to concede more than 40 goals this season, and even that is, I think, excessive. John, we will lose the midfield battle with Souček in the team. I don't think we will. I actually don't think we will. I think he will help in there. He'll be told to do a discipline role, because the alternative, Alvarez is not available. The alternative would be the Ward-Prowse or Paqueta. And like I said, holding Rodriguez's hand, maybe he doesn't need his hand holding, but I don't think Paqueta will be right for this game, sitting deep with Rodriguez, which is why I've got Souček in there. But yeah, fair play. You got your own views, which I appreciate. Early doors. Have faith, Toby. Lopetegui has to start somewhere. Colin, I can't believe 4-2-3-1. Kudus, Paqueta, Bowen behind Fulkrug. Can you imagine? That is, I believe, play 4-2-3-1. So I thought you said I can't believe. You are mad, but thank you. Bill, Bowen and Kudus to swap during the game to confuse. I think that too. Free roll, Bill, for for these players. You will see them swapping around. Even Antonio starting could also go wide, and then one of those players can drop into the middle. So it's a good mixture that we've got there for the start of that game. Ultra, Antonio shouldn't be starting. I think Fulkrug, I said this in my Monday night show, I think in the end, Fulkrug will become our number 9. He will. He'll become our first choice striker. But I think maybe for this game and maybe for a few games going forward, Antonio will probably get the nod. Patrick, I agree. I think Antonio will start tomorrow. Kudus inverted left. I think he won't play Kudus out on the left as such. That's me. That's what I'm thinking as well. When I put Kudus out there, I'm not talking about hogging the touchline. I don't think he'll be doing that. You're absolutely right. He'll be a very much inverted left, almost as a number 10 behind Antonio. The width will come from Emerson. Spot on. That's what I think he may do. Yeah, I think that totally as well. Because let's not forget, Lopetegui likes his fullbacks to go forward. So Emerson will hog that line. And then, of course, what will happen is Rodriguez will fall. If we lose the ball, we'll fall in the back 3. Kilman on one side, Todibo on the other side. Rodriguez will drop back. And then there'll be Souček trying to cover Rodriguez just in front, because Paqueta will have the free roll further up. That's why I think tomorrow Souček will be the player that will get the nod. No, absolutely not forgotten, but I think Guilherme will come on as a sub. I think Somerville will come on much earlier in the game as a sub, like someone else said. James Ward-Prowse probably as well, and one or two others. Fulkrug, I think, will get a good, probably a half an hour in that game tomorrow. Epic. Why would Lopetegui start Souček if he's trying to sell Souček? We don't know that. We don't know that he is trying to sell him. There's rumor that Souček may be going, but if, as I said earlier on the show, when I talked about having 2 players per every area that Lopetegui wants, I think Soler will come in, but that is dependent on who we sell. At this moment in time, it's the preference. We can forget Zuma. We know he's not going to be part of the squad, but there's a preference to probably move on someone like Cornet or move on Ings because of the salaries that they're on. There's a small question mark over Souček or Ward-Prowse. If an offer comes in, don't get me wrong, if an offer comes in for Ward-Prowse or for Souček, they will go. But I think the priority for Lopetegui at this moment in time are players that are going to be really fringe and not get a lot of game time at all. Andy Irving, as I said at the beginning of the show, is looking like there are offers in for him from Atalanta and Espanyol from all clubs. We're waiting for an offer for Cornet. We would take it with open arms. We're waiting for an offer for Danny Ings. We would take that with open arms as well. But if an offer comes in for Souček or for Ward-Prowse, I make you right, we will let them go. But if need be, I think we'll keep him, and I think Lopetegui will use him to the best of his ability. Trini, Wan-Bissaka over Walker. Walker's just a sprinter, does not know what defending is. I think that's harsh. I like Walker. Andrew, Guido eats Anana up tomorrow. Lucas and Mo in front of him. Front 3 with Somerville, Fulkrug, and Bowen. Early doors. Don't forget to get in touch. Get in touch. Make sure you contact him. Let's scroll down. Who else have we got? Good night, mate. Thank you. Good to see you. Good to see you, and good luck with work as well. I hope you're well, and hope to see you again soon. Kevin, I think once the squad gels, Paqueta and Somerville will be good. Absolutely agree. Colin, we could see Bowen, Kudus, Paqueta switching around at games. Exactly that. Exactly that. There's a good reason why Lopetegui wants players who are versatile, so he can move them around during game time. Different switches, different substitutions, different formations, etc. Not just at a game, but throughout the game as well. Good morning to you, Bolane Lounge. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining. It's gone midnight. It's already Saturday. Johnny, as a fullback with our squad, I would have no idea who to mark. They will pull them all over the place and make space for Paqueta and Souček. Good shout. It's game day. He absolutely is, Michael. When Emerson goes forward, Wan-Bissaka will drop in as a third centre back, which is what Souček was doing pre-season. There you go. So there's a lot of option, a lot of difference, a lot of opportunities. 17 hours and 25 minutes to go. Now I'm getting excited. We are going on a European tour. Good evening to you. Stel, would you take Chilwell on a cheeky loan with an option to buy? As Maresca confirms tonight he's leaving. It would be interesting, but someone mentioned earlier in the show about his injuries and maybe he's not the player that he was. But interesting. We're going on a tour. I think Somerville on the left wing and Paqueta lying deeper as an 8. Probably Soufal for Wan-Bissaka, given his lack of training with the team. Yeah, but as I said earlier in the show, Lopetegui said he's had a full pre-season. May not have been with us, but he's had a full pre-season. Balane Lounge. Yeah, it's been a great summer afloat. Took the grandkids down today. They had a great time. Well, I'm glad you all had a good summer. And on that, I'm done. People, it is... I was going to be on for about 40 minutes. I've done an hour and 40 minutes. My apologies, or an hour and 35 minutes. My apologies right at the start. Something went really wrong with the screen. I didn't realize. I thought I had about 6 people watching. I thought, that's it. I'm done. This channel's done for. But I've still got over 200 people watching at the moment. Final request, if you have yet to become a subscriber, please do subscribe to the channel. Cost you nothing to subscribe. All the content is free. And also please hit that like button as well. Johnny, I wonder how many teams play the low block. That's a good shout. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Really looking forward to it. Those who are going to the game, if you see me, come and say hello. It would be very nice to say hello. And who knows, you might be on the channel when I do the post-match review. I normally do it straight after the game, still in the stadium. So if you see me, come and say hello and we'll have a chat. Looking forward to it. The season is upon us. We are now in Saturday. It's going to be interesting, exciting. Let's look forward to it. Let's hope it brings the fan base together, because I think, boy, oh boy, after last season, we really need the fan base to be as one. So let's get behind the team. Let's get behind our new captain, Lopetegui. Let's get behind our new captain, Bowen. Let's get behind our new head coach, Lopetegui. And let's get behind all the new players. Give them time to bed in, because it could be one hell of a ride. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you're all well. I hope you all have a good weekend. I hope you all watch the game either at the stadium or wherever you're going to be. And I'll see you all very soon.